Okay, welcome everybody out to our webinar today. I'm Trevor, and I am going to be hosting. We're going to be talking about eBay again, and we're going to sort of highlight a couple of things that you guys probably already have learned if you've seen some of the other eBay presentations, or if you've been in the program here for any extended period of time. You'll know about some of this stuff, but it's going to be a good review anyway. I want to start with highlighting just some of the general strategies that we run with on eBay. Okay, and we're just going to make a little list here. If I'm looking to make money on eBay, there's a lot of different ways to do it, but I want to highlight some of the main strategies. So for those of you guys who are here live with me, I'm going to call this, strategies on eBay to make money. Okay. Whoops. Sorry. I want to kind of take notes here while we're doing it. All right. Let's list some. What kinds of things can we do on eBay to make money? Just very very high level. What are some of the general strategies that we can run with? Okay, there's one. LJ. International product sourcing. Carry your own inventory, right? And we might do that through a place like AliExpress.com. That's one that we represent, or we not represent, but recommend, because that's what I meant to say. There's other sort of international sites you could buy from, but you can source products directly from international companies. And what's the big benefit from that, LJ? What's the draw to that? Why would we want to do that as a strategy? Yeah, profit margins, right? Like if you guys are buying things directly internationally from some of those sources, you're cutting out every possible middleman that could be out there, and you're getting stuff at just absolute rock bottom prices, right? It's a really great strategy. It's something we like to do here, and it's not really expensive to start either. Like I do, we've talked about this before. I started out, the first time I bought products overseas, I spent like $50 or something. And I turned that $50 into much more, and then I was able to buy more. And anyway, but there's some challenges there. I mean, you have to have a little bit of cash to start, and you have to be willing to do a little of your own shipping and stuff. But that's a possibility for sure. Martha, you hit the next one. This is kind of the big one that we always talk about. Retail drop shipping, right? Which means that we use retail suppliers. Walmart, Overstock, Sears, you name it, Amazon, right? Amazon, Sears, Overstock, Walmart, Target, etc., right? And I got a note here, and this will probably be part of what we talk about today. There's specialty companies out there that a lot of people don't use that we can use to make money on eBay. Some of my clients get concerned because we always talk about some of these general ones like Walmart, and they're like, well, how can I still make money if you're teaching everybody to use Walmart as a potential supplier? Well, you can. I know that for sure, by the way. So, but there is a little more competition. When you're using a big box retailer like that, you and some of our clients are doing it, and then there's some other smart eBay sellers out there that are doing it too. So naturally, there's going to be a little more competition. It's nice to find something a little different, your own set of retailers that you focus on. Okay, good. So that's one strategy. What else can we do? Yeah, you're absolutely, Vicky. So in any of these strategies that we run with, you got to have good titles, right? Like whether you're doing international sourcing or you're doing retail drop shipping or whatever, you have to have really solid titles. That's absolutely a given. Yeah, so I'm going to go with yours there again, LJ, liquidation. Now, what do you mean? What is liquidation? What are we talking about? It's actually not a topic that I've taught on before, but we've got some curriculum on. One of our coaches here that does a lot of eBay kind of lives and dies by the carrying of your own inventory using liquidation type companies. Have any of you guys ever heard of, and I'll just write this down, liquidation.com maybe? Sorry, my internet's being a little slow. But liquidation.com is one. You can go and you can buy things for cheap, right? Buy in bulk, and that's part of it. You can buy from American suppliers in bulk. One thing that I'd like you guys to write down, if you're at all interested in buying your own inventory from American suppliers, thomasnet.com is a place to go. Thomas, so Thomas, Thomas. I'll just write it down, Thomasnet or Thomas.net. So that's more carry your own inventory, right? How about this one, which is one we haven't talked a lot about, which I'd like to get into with you guys a little more in the next few weeks. How about drop shipping from wholesale companies? Okay, we talk so much about retail drop shipping, and that's because it's a really, really easy way to start because there's not a lot of hoops you have to jump through. So number 2 here is easy. Like in your first week, you can be doing retail drop shipping. It's a little harder to do wholesale drop shipping in your first week because that comes with its own challenges. So it's something that we can definitely look at with you guys, and we'll definitely do. I'll spend some more time on it in these webinars as well, but we spend so much time on the retail drop shipping because of its ease, for sure. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good list. I mean, you've got people who do the whole, and I haven't been a fan of this just because I haven't had the time, but I'll say number 5 here, the whole like garage sale thing, garage sales, like Goodwill, whatever, thrift stores, that kind of stuff. Local product sourcing, that's stuff that you can do. You can even do this. I've had a few clients that go out and buy inventory from retailers, like local companies, and they buy it within the return policy time. So they buy a bunch of inventory, and then they list all of it and try to sell it on eBay, and whatever they can't sell, they return, which is an interesting strategy because you carry no risk and you guarantee that your inventory is going to be in stock. Does that make sense, guys? So you go out there and there might be some local stores that have some pretty good deals on stuff. You go buy up everything you can. You bring it all home. You take pictures of it, and you try to sell it. And whatever you sell, great. You ship out and you make money on. Whatever you can't sell, you return. That's a strategy that a few of my clients use very specifically. Yeah, that's an interesting one. To make your own stuff. I like that idea. Make your own product. There are people out there, right, that can make their own product and sell it on eBay. I actually, what I buy a lot of off of eBay. I buy every sort of like, I don't know, midsummer or autumn, I buy like real honeycomb that people around the country, who harvest honey or have bees, they sell this honeycomb, right? That's their own product that they make, and they sell it. Some of them probably make some decent money doing it too, because it's real popular on eBay. So manufacturing or making your own product is definitely something that you can do. Vicky asked an interesting question. What's the best shipping method if you're shipping stuff from home? I'll give you kind of a general answer to this. If it's at all not heavy, right? Like we're talking not 50 pounds, or over. We're talking less than that. Almost always the post office is going to be your best bet. I mean, 99% of the time, you're going to be able to ship cheaper through the post office. Now, why is it that all the big time retailers out there are shipping through like FedEx and UPS? Well, that's because they have their own accounts with them, and they get gigantic shipping discounts because they ship so much, right? They do so much in volume. But for the smaller seller, like you guys, if you're doing any of your own shipping, you're probably going to go ship using the post office. And that doesn't mean that you've got to run down to the post office every day to ship stuff out. You can print out your shipping label right there on eBay and, from the comfort of your home, just ship stuff out, right? That's what I do on some of the stuff that I carry inventory on. But we've got some stuff. You'll have to look on our site there, Vicki. We've got a couple of webinars on shipping that would definitely be worth looking into, especially for you guys that have some things that you want to get rid of. And I would say even this isn't like a very scalable strategy, but it works. Selling, I'll call it junk. Maybe I should call it stuff from home, right? Old stuff you want to get rid of, that you can make some money off of that. But you'll notice in our program, we really push number 2 is a strategy because it's scalable. In fact, I got to tell you guys, I got off the phone with one of our better clients here. He's been in the program for a long time. We talked this week for a little bit. He's been in our program now for over 2 years. Usually the program it doesn't last that long, but he stays in touch with us in case he has any questions or concerns, and that's okay for any one of you guys. After you've done the bulk of the consulting at the beginning, if you ever need us, we're not going anywhere. But anyway, we were talking to him, and he told us that this week he submitted his tax return for his eBay business for 2014, and he did using number 2 here. This is his strategy, and this is all he does, right? He doesn't do any of the other stuff that we've listed here. He doesn't use any like wholesale drop shippers or anything. It's straight retail drop shipping. He did $240,000 in sales last year. It's his best year by far. And his profit margins were pretty solid. He brought home after fees about $55,000. All off of the retail strategy. That's not even going out and using like wholesalers or wholesale drop shippers or carrying any of his own inventory. He doesn't do any of that. He's gotten busy enough that now he's working on a website. He's quit his job, and this is what he's doing full time. But it's straight off of the retail strategy. So if you've got this idea in your mind that the retail strategy is just a temporary way to make a little money while we're waiting to do other things, that's not necessarily true. You can make serious money doing it. But I'll tell you his secret without actually telling you his secret, if that makes sense. I'll tell you what he does differently. He does some of this stuff right here, like some of the mainstream sellers or retailers. But his big secret is he's gone out there and actually found very specific boutique retailers that don't, they don't have a massive presence on eBay. And he's discovered them through looking through Google at different niches he's interested in, struck up a deal, and he's listing, all their stuff on eBay. So in a very specific niche. So the bottom line is, if you've got that idea in your mind that this is short term, or that it doesn't work, or it can't really be capable of making you serious money, you got to put that out of your head, because it can. And if it hasn't done it as well for you so far, that's okay. We'll work at it with you. And he's 2 years into the program. He didn't make that kind of money his very first year. It took him some time, but anyway, that was really positive. I love to hear stories like that, because that does happen more often than you'd think. Okay, so any other thoughts, ideas that we can sort of put on this list here? Anna, he doesn't have a specific contract in place, no. So this this retailer that he has, and he's got several of them, so it's not just one. These are smaller retailers. They're not like household name companies like Sears or Walmart. Ones that he found out in Google that have some really cool product, but just aren't selling it very well. And that's it. They're not listing on eBay, or if they were, and I think in one case, one of his retailers was listing on eBay, but just didn't know what they were doing very well. He just took their products and did better titles and listed it and started selling. So, the opportunities are definitely out there, no question. I think this is a pretty good list. Now, there's more things that we could put on here, but we really like to emphasize number 2 here. We also like to emphasize number 1, the international strategy. I know a lot of you guys are like, no, I don't want to buy any inventory. I don't want to deal with it. I hear you, and I felt that way as well at one point. But you can carry inventory yourself on a very small level and build up. Like I said, like I invested like $50 my first time, turned the 50 into, I can't remember the exact numbers, but like 200. I know I like tripled or quadrupled it, and then reinvested the 200 and bought a bunch more, and then it started to grow from there. So, and it doesn't have to be big stuff, it can be small stuff. So this is a good one to use. It's certainly supplemented our income over the years for a long time, and I highly recommend it. This can be good as well if you're not comfortable buying out of the country and you want to buy from like manufacturers here in the United States. This type of liquidation stuff is really good. And then I think number 4 here, we really need to focus that or emphasize that maybe just a little bit more, because a lot of you guys, when you get off to the races and you're doing your website and you forget that you can turn around and use wholesale products from wholesale drop shippers and put them up onto eBay too. But that comes with its own set of challenges, and we're going to discuss that over the coming weeks. I'm going to dedicate more of our webinars into what some of those challenges are and how to work with some of those drop shipping companies so that we can do more than just the retail strategy. You guys can be working with other good potential wholesale drop shippers. So it's definitely something we want to talk about. So that's going to be kind of my introduction into what maybe the next few weeks are going to be like. We're going to maybe emphasize number 4 just a little bit more. And I've been really hitting the retail dropship strategy on these Fridays for a while now. I want to come off of that a little bit and maybe look at some of this other stuff a little bit more. That way, just to give you guys more options. I mean, not everybody makes money on eBay the same way. I think all of you can make really good money using the retail strategy. But if for whatever reason you don't end up loving it or you struggle a lot with it, there's still other ways to utilize eBay as a platform to make pretty good money. Okay? All right, well, let me see what other questions you guys have. This is really all I wanted to go over today. I just wanted to make this list, kind of get on the same page with what some of these different opportunities are, and then going forward, we're going to focus on some other ones for a little while. Yeah, any other questions specifically, guys? I'm not really going to dig into a lot of detail on any one of these right now. I just kind of want to give you the high level. I'll give you guys a sec. I think I'll probably, I'll leave the recording on for just another minute to see if there's any good questions. Otherwise we'll finish up. I'm curious, do you guys, those who are here live, do you guys have any preferences on just so far in your experience? What of these strategies here that we've kind of talked a little bit about, what's been working for you best? And what do you, or which ones do you like most and why? Yeah. So Robert, I have eBay has something they call fast and free. I've got a link for you. We probably won't have time to go into a lot of it right now, but let me send this link out to everybody. Yeah, there's a way you can get your listings to qualify for quote unquote fast and free, and it can be helpful. They say you sell a little bit better if you can, if you can do it. So it works in some respects. It's a little tougher to make work with the retail strategy, but check out that link there, and that explains just a little bit more. Good, good. Okay. All right. Well, good. So for those of you guys who can do it next week, let's see you next week. We'll try maybe spending our time on some of these other strategies just a little bit more. And then hopefully you guys are a little more diversified in what you're doing on eBay. You can find what works for you. If you absolutely hate the idea of carrying your own inventory, don't do it, because there's ways to use drop shipping. If you're interested in maybe trying that out a little bit, then try it. You don't have to do it on a big scale. I think we're prone to think that uh, if you carry inventory, that means large trucks with giant full of stuff, pallets full of products, and the possibility of getting stuck with stuff, or maybe it's going to cost you a bunch up front. That's not always the case, and I kind of want to dispel that myth a little bit if you guys are interested in doing some of that. But if you're just interested in the drop shipping part of things, then you can focus on that as well. Okay, good. Well, let's finish up with that. I'm going to let you guys get back to the rest of your Friday. For everybody who's been here participating live with me, and for those of you guys who are going to see this later recorded, good to have everybody here, and we will see you guys next Friday, same time, same place. Thanks again.